afternoon, everybody. I hope you're all right. What a beautiful day. It's not raining. So on behalf of Mark and Casey and the families that are gathered here today, let me welcome you and tell you what an honor it is to have you gather with us today to celebrate this grand and momentous occasion. The wedding ceremony reveals a deep, dark secret that we all still have, and that is we still believe in true love. We still believe that love can conquer just about anything. Mark and Casey stand here before you today because they want to express to you and to each other their love for each other and their desire to be bound together in this new relationship. And this relationship, I don't know if you've ever considered it or not, but it's probably one of the oldest institutions the world has. It is as old as the Garden of Eden itself, where God took Adam and took Eve and He joined them together. So this thing that we call marriage, that we celebrate every May, June, July, and even the more adventurous ones who celebrate in December and January, it was not some guy's idea, it was not some lady's idea. This is actually God's idea. So there's something behind it that ought to be pretty good. And I've never done a wedding before in which the bride and the groom weren't a wee bit nervous. Typically it's the groom who is berated with what we typically refer to as butterflies. It feels more like a family of bats that found a new home. And Casey finally convinced, I don't know if Mark had the thought go through his head or not, but the typical groom is thinking, let's elope. It's easier, it's expedient, and it doesn't cost me as much. Casey hopefully finally got those ideas out of his head, and so thank the Lord we have a groom today. Mark, this really ought to be an easy day for you because there ain't one soul looking at you. Nobody. So you can relax. They're all looking at her. Yeah, I know, yeah. So you really don't have any responsibilities until the reception. Just stand here and, like me, take up a little bit of space because Casey's the one today. And Casey, you are a beautiful bride. Absolutely stunning. And so, you know, when you're nervous about everybody looking at you, which they are, then be proud. If you got it, flaunt it. You know? And I want both of you to know what an honor it is for me to be able to stand here with you today. After having gotten to know you a little bit and your sweethearts and your kind spirits, it's just a joy for me to be allowed to play this small role with you. But I want you to listen to me very carefully today because I'm going to speak to you from the standpoint of being somewhat of an authority in your life. You came to me and asked me to do this, and so I have the right to speak somewhat authoritatively to you. We all have authorities in our lives, people who speak words of wisdom from experience or just from simple know-how. And I want you to hear me today. Marriage is not a 50-50 proposition. I think you're wise enough to know that. If you come in a marriage relationship giving 50%, no wonder you're only going to get a 50% marriage. Unfortunately, to make one work, each one of you have to give 100%. And when you're each given 100%, that doesn't tally up to 200%. That tallies up to usually just enough to be happy. Because it's difficult taking two separate individual lives and bonding them together and getting them to flow the right way. And it takes a little while to do that. But the vows that you're going to take today and the promises that you're going to make to each other, if you can keep those in your mind as the years unfold, it'll make your bond a whole lot stronger so that the difficult days, though they come, may not be quite as difficult. And Casey, today, Mark is the man of your dreams. But maybe in 6 months to a year, that dream one day make you think, oh, this is a nightmare. And on those days, Casey, when you want to set the man on fire, remember, love is not an emotion. It's a choice. And Mark, when you want to FedEx Casey to regions unknown, remember the promises that you make today, because there may come a day when really the only thing that you have to hold you together because of difficulties are those promises. And I promise you this, when those promises that you make today become special and they lock into your spirit, the difficulties may come and go, but you stay together. You can face any battle. So I want you to listen very carefully. Mark, I'm going to start with you. Mark, will you have this woman to be your wife, to live together in this new relationship of marriage? Will you love her, comfort her, honor her, and keep her in sickness and in health, in good times and in difficult times, and forsaking all others, be faithful to her so long as you both shall live? If so, answer, I will. Casey, will you have this man to be your husband, to live together in this new relationship of marriage? Will you love him, comfort him, honor him, and keep him in sickness and in health, in good times and in difficulty, forsaking all others? Be faithful only to him so long as you both shall live. If so, answer, I will.
I will.
Who gives this woman to be married to this man? Mark and Casey, marriage can be one of the greatest relationships you'll ever experience. However, in order for a marriage relationship to reach its fullest potential, I'm convinced beyond a shadow of a doubt that Jesus Christ has to play the primary role in the relationship. If for no other reason, he knows your hearts, he knows your thoughts, he knows your needs. He understands you better than you understand yourselves. As a matter of fact, Mark, the love you feel for Casey, Casey, the love you feel for Mark, God created that for you, and he gave that to you. And I promise you that if he is the centerpiece of your life, the delightful awareness that you have for each other today, it will always be there, because he'll ensure that it stays. It's often said that an ideal marriage is kind of like a triangle, an eternal triangle with God at the top. And the obvious answer is that the closer you move to the top, ultimately the closer you grow to each other. And you've both promised that you're going to take each other to be husband and wife. So now I ask you to take hands, hold hands. And I'm going to allow you to speak vows that you have chosen for yourselves. These are the vows you gave to me to have you repeat. And so, folks, these are not just coming out of a book. These actually have come both from Casey and from Mark, and they're meaning very much to them.